Bendu attends to a few things in her office after the counseling session with Tenor, a way to cope with the ensuing depressive mood that the revelation by Tenor invoked. On her way home after eventually leaving office in the evening, she unexpectedly sights Cobra, the commander that captured her during the war, at a gas station. She is shocked and nervous. From the other side of the road, she looks at the direction of the gas station again. To erase any doubt, the man is indeed Commander Cobra. When she regains composure, she heads towards the gas station. By the time she gets there, Cobra is gone. For two successive nights after the incident, Bendu experienced nightmares. On the second night, she wakes up drenched in sweat and screaming. In the dream, she finds herself in Daluma. In Daluma, she is being trained to fight together with other women. They are having routine drill, jogging while bearing heavy rifles. Suddenly, their leader makes a turn and leads them towards a large rusty zinc house hidden behind some bushes and trees. There, they meet Commander Cobra. After some time in the room to which they have been led, they behold a terrible sight. About a dozen men are huddled in the middle of the floor. They are naked, gagged, and their elbows are bound behind their backs. They are all terrified, as one of them is already beheaded, with his head lying apart and face frozen in terror. The knives and cutlasses with which he was decapitated littered the ground and blood splattered everywhere. Bendu and another woman are pulled out of a group of women by Commander Cobra. He makes them pick up the bloody weapons and say all the women in the group will execute the remaining bound and gagged men. He adds that the woman will be taught how to kill these men. While muffled mourning rises among the ill-fated men, and they struggle in vain to free themselves, Commander Cobra scans the group of men and picks out one of them. He declares that the skull of the unfortunate man belongs to him. As the man gets terrified and shakes his head vigorously, Cobra gives a sign to one of his assistants, who wastes no time in dealing a blow to the man's neck from behind. Cobra seizes a knife from Bendu, tilts his victim's head back, and cuts his throat like that of a goat. Blood gushes from his throat and splatters all over Bendu, who is close by. Terrified, she screams and screams until she blacks out. Awakened from the dream, Bendu is shivering even though it is a warm night. She is as terrified now as she was on the day of the said execution. She wonders whether someone somewhere is still looking for the dead man. Bendu has stayed away from the office without apologies or notice for 2 days, and Agnes is justifiably troubled and concerned. Therefore, she calls at her partner's house to find out what the problem is. She finds out that Bendu cited Commander Cobra, and this has had some adverse effects on her. The following day, she arranges with Bendu's sister, Siata, and her friend and admirer, Kevin, to discuss her plight and possible way out. Agnes calls at Bendu's place the following morning to surprisingly find her in good mood. After warm greetings, Bendu justifies her happy mood by the fact that she would not let Cobra or anyone ruin her life again. As they take the flight of stairs leading to their office, Agnes pauses a bit to inform Bendu that she has asked Siata and Calvin to offer help, just as she is also doing. Bendu is unhappy about the development, but reluctantly agrees with them. Sihata, seeing the unwelcoming attitude of Bendu, makes to leave, but Calvin discourages her. He tells her that Bendu needs family at the moment. Eventually, Bendu agrees that they should move into her office to talk. Calvin, more concerned about Bendu's safety, asks her about Cobra and questions that may help to track him. He also talks about arranging security guards for her at home and in the office. When asked why is it necessary to find Cobra, she declares her interest in prosecuting him for war crimes, while Agnes insists that this is both unwise and impossible. Seattle thinks it is probably the right thing to do. She also uses the opportunity to criticize fellow librarians who she believes set back and allowed illiterate, ragtag hoodlums, fighters, and children rob, rape, and kill for many years. Agnes is enraged by Seatta's outburst and she gives it back to her in kind. She tells her that people like her who run away to America during the war have no moral ground to insult those who stayed back and bore the brunt of the tragedy. As the exchange between the two intensifies, Calvin intervenes to stop them. He calls their attention to the fact that the purpose of the meeting is not to trade blames about the war. He also emphasizes that security for Bendu is not an option. He tells her in particular that if Cobra learns that she is looking for him, anything can happen. Meanwhile, Bendu reluctantly agrees with Calvin's view. She hopes that they will find Cobra soon. She notes that she will not be able to sleep well at night with the knowledge that Cobra is somewhere out there. Given Calvin's submission above, Bendu and Sieta suspect another motive behind his resolve. Sieta wonders whether it is about Benji, and he replies that everything is about Benji. Benji was Calvin's best friend and brother to Bendu and Sieta. He was killed by soldiers during the 1980 coup that brought the army and Samuel Doe to power. Contrary to Sieta's view, that Calvin sees in every army guy the killer of their brother. He points out that soldiers killed his family and friends while he watched helplessly as a powerless young boy. He will therefore never allow a repeat of similar things now. From Agnes' perspective, Calvin's interest in Cobra appears to be motivated by desire for revenge. She advises against it, but Calvin insists that he is pursuing justice.